friends! My name is Shayla and today I am here to do a movie review for you, which is something a little bit different that I occasionally do on this channel. So today's movie review is for Only Yesterday, put out by Studio Ghibli. This particular one is directed by Takahata, but produced by Miyazaki. I just go by their last names because that's how most people know them if they're familiar with Studio Ghibli at all. For those of you who aren't familiar with what Studio Ghibli is, Studio Ghibli is like Japan's equivalent of Disney. Like, they put out these absolutely spectacular, whimsical, lovely movies. And this, my friends, is the last Studio Ghibli film for the foreseeable future. This actually came out in Japan in 1991. But we are just finally getting it here in the US. Studio Ghibli puts out things like Howl's Moving Castle, The Wind Rises, Whispers of the Heart. There are many, many, many Studio Ghibli films that most people aren't aware of. The most popular Ghibli film is Spirited Away, which Miyazaki received an Oscar for. So now that you've had a brief, Studio Ghibli history, let's dig in particularly to Only Yesterday and what it's about. So this is about 27-year-old Takeo, who continues to get visits from her 5th grade self. Just in a flashback sort of manner, not physically. But basically there were things that happened to Takeo during that very growing 5th grade year that kind of stunted her ability to grow up and mature, is the easiest way to kind of describe it. Takeo's older now, she has a good job in Japan, but it doesn't make her happy. Farming actually makes her happy. So her brother-in-law, his family, has a farm out in the country, and so she goes out once a year to help harvest crops. And throughout this movie, it is beautifully woven through. You get to know her 5th grade self and you get to know her adult self. The way everything is shared is absolutely stunning. I mean, the way the story weaved back and forth between the two timelines was very seamless to me. Like, I really didn't feel like it was herky-jerky. Like, it all just made sense in her narrative and everything. And Takeo, the older Takeo, is actually voiced by Daisy Ridley, who's Rey in Star Wars. So, you know, she has a nice, pleasing voice. Anyway, so it talks about, when she's in 5th grade, it talks about crushes and all sorts of other things, and how that affects her as an adult woman who is single, not married, no children. She's just herself. She's the youngest in her family. And you get to see her family dynamics then and family dynamics now in her adopted farming family. And throughout her adventures, she meets and makes friends with Toshio, who is a young man who originally started out working in an office in Japan and discovered that he loved farming. So he actually left his city life behind and now lives out in the country nearby. He's like a cousin of her brother-in-law's family. Everything is so beautiful in this film. It's hard for me to put into words sometimes because it's just so beautiful. The pacing of this movie is very, very slow. This is what in Japan they call a slice of life movie. So basically it's just a look at everyday life and what people deal with on an everyday basis. You know, flashbacks, all that kind of stuff. And I love Studio Ghibli's slice of life films. Each one I've really adored for different reasons. This particular one is very much a coming of age, coming into yourself kind of story, and I absolutely adored it. The animation, of course, as always, is beautiful because it is Ghibli films. I really wish more people here in the US would give studios like Studio Ghibli a chance because, you know, people have these preformed ideas of what they think an anime film is. Because I remember I had those till I started watching a little bit more. But yes, it's very deep in Japanese culture, but the stories are universal. Anybody could relate to the stories, especially in this particular one. I think it is a great one for here in the US for Studio Ghibli to go out. It is not action-packed. If you're looking for an action-packed animation, this is definitely not it. This one is definitely for that time when you just want to relax and have feelings for a movie. You need to feel things, but you don't want it to be super taxing, like I think this is a great fit for that. My husband and I sat down and we enjoyed this last night, and we both just adored the film. We adored the way it was written. You know, the fact that this came out in 91 in Japan and just barely came out here, like, what, 25 years later? It's crazy, because this is absolutely wonderful. So, for those of you who are curious, definitely check out Only Yesterday from Studio Ghibli. It is a fantastic film. Just be prepared to sit back, relax, and enjoy. You don't have an action-packed storyline. It's just very slow-moving, slow-paced. And sometimes that's really nice. So when you're feeling like a slow-paced movie, definitely pick up Only Yesterday. So on a star rating, I would definitely give this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. I highly recommend it. So please go and check out Only Yesterday. I'll see you guys on Friday with my next video. Have an awesome day. Bye.